I'm with my favorite person in the whole world, Carrie Aalberts,
Stop.
Dementia Darling.
Right back at ya.
Ah, we had this problem last time where we couldn't get started recording because we were talking too much.
It's insane. And
I know.
we need to just like, ugh, I don't know. We need to give ourselves more of a goal next time
We
to start
do.
right away
I
for
know.
sure.
I
It's
know.
ridiculous. No,
So
it's
good.
not. It shows we're besties and
It does.
it's just true. It's true.
That's true. Just
Oh
how
my
much we
gosh.
love each other.
I'm
Well,
so happy to be here.
I am too. We're so excited to share our personal insight, behind the scenes experience at CES 2024,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
AARP, Age Tech.
2024. Sorry, that's so weird to say. Just had to say that.
It is. You know what? In my brain, I said 2023, and then I was like, no, Nicole, it was
100%.
January. It was
100%. And
this
when I was
year.
emailing people, I'm like, can't wait for 2025. And I'm like, ooh, weird.
Right? Where's
But
time going?
very strange.
So strange. Well, I want to start at the very beginning because we had so much conversation. It was like we were planning for going for CES. It was kind of around Christmas time, and you and I both were like, actually, going to CES feels like Christmas. It was like our
Oh,
Christmas.
it's adult Christmas. I was way more excited
I
for
know.
CES than Christmas, and don't tell my family. No, I was so stoked. And I know I said this on LinkedIn and stuff, and I've said this to 1,000 people, but I was born and raised here in the Vegas area. And I live a little outside of Vegas now in what's called Boulder City, but I'm that girl that says I'm from, I live in Vegas. It's just easier.
Oh, for sure.
And I have always wanted to go to this. I mean, my brother-in-law and my boyfriend have both done media for them multiple years. I've only heard like how mind-blowing it is my whole life because it's always been here. And to go and to be surrounded by age tech and to see what our future can look like if we really do work together is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm on a high.
It's
I'm so
I
excited.
know, me too. I'm still on a high. I still think
I
about it and I'm
know.
still connecting with all the people. But for people
Yeah.
listening that don't know, CES is short for the Consumer Electronics Show. It is a consumer technology association. It brings together everyone in literally from around the world.
Yeah.
They call it the most powerful tech event in the world, and it brings all the technology, global innovators, everyone from Microsoft, Amazon, Samsung. I mean, you name it, it is there in every form of tech, and it is so cool to see AARP with the Age Tech Collaborative really almost, they had such a dynamic presence in the world
Yes.
of tech, and it was
Yeah.
so cool to see. And not only was AARP a part of this dynamic presence, but you could see Age Tech around the whole show in various areas. Like it
Yep.
is where we are moving. There is momentum and there is a highlight. Absolutely.
How big is CES? Just like put it out there. It's like 30, the equivalent of 34 football fields or
Yeah,
something. And it's like 103,000 people come or something like that. It's insane.
it's insane. It's a
And
hundred, I think I saw like
thank you.
135,000
Yes.
attendees.
Yeah. Insane.
Attendees. It's
So it's
insane.
very intimidating, first off. Like
Right.
you're in, but they split it up between different hotels on the strip and the convention center. And so we were housed in the Venetian.
Yep.
So if you're familiar, like it was really nice for us because we did not have to leave the Venetian really at all,
It was
right?
great.
Because
Yeah.
everything for Age Tech and that we were really interested was housed there, thank goodness. But it was still insanity, right? I mean, it was still like,
So much
I mean,
happening. Yeah.
thankfully AARP had this incredible booth. Like it wasn't a booth; it was a stage. It was a huge, like it
It was
wasn't
like
a booth.
it was a
Thank God.
presence of,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like they've been there since the beginning. I mean,
I
they're
know.
huge, as you said.
Yeah.
And then we went downstairs, and it's shoulder to shoulder international startups, and
Yeah.
it is booming, and it is very intense. And if you don't watch where you're going, you're going to get run over. And it
Or
is,
lost.
media everywhere or lost. We got lost a lot.
Uh,
And don't get me started on the third day, Nicole. I got so lost
oh
without you. It
no.
was
Oh
hilarious.
no.
But it was great. And I just have to throw that out there because it's not just like a regular
I agree.
conference
It
at
it is
all.
it is
Like it
something
is
I've
a
never
world
experienced. It's
of
a
its
whole
own.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a full world. And I mean, everyone's represented there, which is just it's just amazing. It's a
I know,
dream.
it
For a
is.
tech person, it's a freaking dream.
It
So just
is.
had to put that out there, like
Oh,
to
love that.
like get the vision in your mind
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Right.
But
Picture
yes,
just
yeah,
how people from around the world, like the smartest minds and innovators, and just to be
yeah.
around everyone, you could just feel there was an energy there that was palpable for sure.
Oh, energy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you when I went to the third date, because of course I'm like exhausted and we'll get there. Once I like stepped in, I was like, bam, like
Yeah.
everyone's energy just
You were
like
like infused.
ignited. Yeah. And I often am told I'm like a cup of coffee to be around. And I was like, I feel this now in this room. Like I don't even need my coffee, but I still did. Don't worry.
Oh, so
But
good.
then I also, before we even go to behind the scenes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry I'm
No,
taking
I'll
over.
go
But
for it.
I want to shout out why we're there, how
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
there.
I do too.
Bill.
This is important. Yeah.
Bill from Zinnia, the full-on CEO of Zinnia. Bill is our friend, and we are. I know for both of us, we're
Yeah.
honored to be so close to him and
I
to be able to
agree.
call him our friend.
Hmm.
And we've had so many fun experiences at conferences together. And when Bill offered, because Zinnia TV, which you know about if you follow both of us, but please look them up if you don't, and we can talk about it more as well. But Zinnia TV is such a gift of a company and product. It's more than a product, it's so much more than that.
I
And
agree.
to be able for him to say, hey, we're part of the AgeTech collaborative with AARP, like heck yes. And I would love to invite you and Nicole to come with me to CES was insane to me. I mean, that is the coolest invite I've ever gotten. And so I keep saying to Bill, like, I'm forever indebted to
I
you
know.
and I will go to CES with you anytime you want
Yes, yes.
because I am all in, man. But he is always thinking of me and always has invited me to events. And I just appreciate Bill for supporting me personally. And I just thank you, Bill, for getting me there and letting me just, be able to present myself as Dementia Darling and as with Eugeria and you giving me that opportunity. I can't thank you enough.
I just echo everything you say. He's a dear friend, and Allison Schreier, the founder. We
Of
both, you
course.
and you,
We're obsessed.
we are, we literally are. You
Love.
and Allison and
Yeah.
I, we had like a few hours in the airport together back in November, and just that time was so precious to me. I walked away
Same.
feeling so seen and supported, and how we're all founders in our own right, and like sharing that. That together and like the conversations that we're able to have, and I'm just so appreciative of them for the invite. And Bill, you're right, like he's just a support, and
Yeah.
I want everyone to know about Zinnia.
Everyone.
Have a platform that creates videos that help people with dementia and their caregivers, and it's truly remarkable the impact that they're seeing. And so however we can share that, but yes, being invited, being with both of you made it even that much better. Like the whole
It was
experience that much
special.
better, it really was.
And it ignited so much in me. And I know we both had that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like be a gush fest or anything. People are like, I'm turning this off, but I'm just kidding. But I'm just like, truly, it is
Hmm.
just anyone who's in this business, you have a wonderful heart, most
Right.
likely.
Yeah,
And
totally.
it's just really beautiful when you find people that you can align with and that you can truly work with to build quality of life for the people you're serving.
Right.
And being able to be supported by professionals that I look up to, such as you and Bill, and being able to be completely transparent and ask you
Hmm.
for advice and be lifted up by you is something that is priceless to me and
Yeah.
I will never take for granted. So times like this was just really special, and I'm excited to see how this industry evolves and just even going off of what we kept saying, I can't wait for us to see senior living there next year
I agree. I
and to be there
agree.
as a industry and to show up and see how we can shape the future.
Yeah, I agree. I know, and we're going to get into that when we talk about the panels too, but it's
For
so
sure.
true. I think you and I not only had a deeper appreciation for the work that we do, but the people that we
Hmm.
do it with. And
Hmm.
you bring out the best in me. You do. And
Same to
just
you.
surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah.
And I witnessed that being at the Age Tech Collaborative, of all of these people that are passionate about their initiatives together and truly, truly supporting each other. So it was just really, really, yeah, it was really incredible.
Because we all align. We all want
We
the
do.
best for our, us as we age. I mean, we're all aging, so this is beneficial to us
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
I
Like
know.
it's
We are
also can be a
creating the
selfish,
future, right?
like, yeah, if you don't want it to be like a not a selfish thing, make it selfish. Like it's for you too. So
Yeah.
it's important to, be supportive of these technologies. And so it's cool to meet other people that are dedicating their career
Yeah,
to it.
I agree. I agree. And when we talked about just like the massive size of CES, I had nerves going into it, or even like flying into Vegas, because I was like,
Yep.
what am I going
Yep.
to encounter? This is the largest show that Vegas puts on, I think. I don't quote me on that,
I
but
would
I
say,
think
but
so.
I should
Yeah.
know. I'm going to Google it. Keep talking.
Okay, so I was nervous about that, but you are amazing and picked me up from the airport, and it was really funny because we like couldn't find each other. I was like, Carrie, I think I'm on this side, and then anyways, we found each other. We were able to park at the Venetian, which I felt CES, I mean, they've done this before. They have an app that guides you on terms of what exhibits, where you are, what sessions are
Thank
happening.
goodness.
Thank goodness, where you can park, like all the logistics. So that was super helpful. And it was amazing to see the ease they made it accessible. And I felt
Yeah.
relatively seamless for us to get in. So we parked, we went right away. We flew over to the collaborative, and just to give people insight on what is the AARP AgeTech
Yes.
collaborative. What is it?
Tell me.
Tell me. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It is a part of AARP, and the AgeTech, it's when we use the word age tech, what does that mean? And it's a category of tech solutions designed to meet the needs of the world's aging population. So that is products, services, experiences across different industries that aim to make the process of aging easier. So that's health tech, fintech, mobility, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, digital health, gaming, education, communication, smart home, robotics. Thank you, AARP, for providing us with this information.
Yeah,
but
thank you,
it
AARP.
really does clarify what are we even talking about when we say age tech? Because I think a lot of times we use terminology and we don't fully grasp the breadth of what that means.
Well, and that's a huge umbrella, like of different things that we can be thinking of. And for me personally, as Dementia Darling, I am focused on, when people are talking, when I'm in age tech presence of, founders or whatever, when I was at CES, in all of these categories, how are you thinking of people living with dementia and their caregivers? How is this health tech? How is this mobility tech? How is this artificial intelligence? How is this digital tech? Whatever, gaming, education, whatever. How is it formulated and designed to support people living with dementia? Because hello, aging, it's not a normal part of aging to have dementia.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this.
Yeah.
But we know age is the largest contributor to having dementia.
Yeah.
Is your largest, risk factor. So we see this, and dementia is not going anywhere, unfortunately, unless we have a cure, and we need to support the people that have dementia, right? We have a lot of people living with dementia now. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So how are these companies supporting those people and their caregivers?
Right.
How is this going to help them save money? How is this going to help them age in place? How is this going to help them be safe? How is this going to help them save money?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And increase their quality of life, to give them the independence and the richness.
Did I say save money twice?
Yeah, but you know what? It's a big deal, because
I meant to say quality of life last. So if you could edit that.
I mean, I kind of like this dynamic right now.
No, okay. You can leave it. You can leave it. Leave all this. I'm tired, but I meant to say.
Agree. Yes, but you know what?
I'm so focused on money, because aging in place even a little bit longer. Yeah. That's how we are at Eugenia. Yeah. Every cent counts. Yeah. But yes, quality of life. How are you helping quality of life with your tech 100%. For everyone? But how is it also designed for people living with dementia and their caregivers? Yeah. Are you thinking of these people?
Right. Right.
Okay, I'll get off my
But I
soapbox.
like that. Honestly, you nailing down and saying money twice is almost serendipitous in that it is the number one stressor and factor that families are
Yes.
navigating and considering. Like it plays such a toll. So if that can be alleviated, you and I were looking at some of the numbers that they had present at the booth and how people 50 and older in the US spent 77 billion on tech in 2022. That number's projected to grow to roughly 120 billion in 2030. 20,000 people in the US will turn 65 years old in the next 2 days.
Can you just say that again? Because
Yeah.
that's insane. Just like think
20
about this.
20,000 people in the US will turn 65 years old in the next 2 days. Just 2 days. It's
We
crazy.
are not
We
ready.
are not ready. We are not ready. And 71% of 50 plus consumers had a tech purchase in 2022. We know that the market is there. And there are just so many interesting, when you look at not only the consumer base, but the incredible need for this population. And so
Mhm.
having there be a focused desire and all of these people coming together to address one of the largest, I think, demographics and needs in the world, actually.
It is, and that's why it's so frustrating that it's not a bigger conversation. But maybe I don't know. I'm just so in my like world of this that it's just mind-boggling to me that we're not thinking about this more
I
and
know.
being more prepared. But I have to say, so I looked it up. The largest convention in the US is CES, and then I believe it is also in the world.
Oh, I'm so glad you found that.
It might be in the world as well, but it's with upwards to 180,000 attendees.
Wow.
So it's definitely the biggest in Vegas by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's it should be about the biggest in the world. So yes, so just throwing that out there. And so it's really impressive and beautiful to see AgeTech Collaborative having such a big presence there. And it should be its own leg of the conference eventually of its own. And it will be, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. And we wanted to express our gratitude and acknowledge the
Yes.
immense amount of planning and coordination that we know goes into having events like this come together. So, Andy Miller, who is the SVP of Innovation and Product Development at AgeTech Collaborative. He was also on different panels that we were able to see. There's also so many people involved, but we're just going to maybe touch on some of the people we had the chance to meet personally. Sasha Spellman, who is the director of the AgeTech Collaborative, who,
She
there's
was
I
amazing.
know,
Sorry.
it was so
She
fun.
was just
It's
so
so
amazing.
fun to meet people in person after you've been able to connect with them through various work things. We also loved meeting Liv Tomazeski. Liv, did we get your last name right?
Yeah, sorry, girl, if we botched
I
that, but you
know.
are
Oh,
a gem. And I just want to thank you for just your heart. Same with Sasha. I mean, the whole team, all of your hearts were so beautiful and just you were so welcoming. You worked your butts off, and I hope you had a lot of sleep after.
I do too. I know when you just look at things like that and you just I can't even imagine all that went into that, but we are grateful. We have so much
Oh,
gratitude.
and I have one other person on the team that I got to kind of connect with, and we talked about dementia in family and things like that. But Marco, and I'm going to botch his name. I'm so sorry, Marco. Di Girolamo, who is an account manager with the Age Tech Collaborative, and he was incredible as well. Just so welcoming, so lovely, and thank you
I
guys.
know, just so many great people. There was someone else I had the chance to meet at the pitch event, and that was Victor. Again, I wish that I had all the pronunciations down,
I
but
know.
Mastrani, I think I got that right. And he's with AARP. So it was just a great culmination of all these people to coming together. And then the moderator, Danielle Duplin, she was amazing.
She was incredible.
I went up to her at After Dark pitch event, and honestly, her moderation is like watching a master class in moderation. She was
Oh,
incredible
yes.
how she moderated those panels, the questions, the conversation, how she involved everyone, how she just had so much wisdom in how she skillfully skillfully brought the best out of all of those panel speakers. It was beautiful to watch. I was just like in awe. I'm like, I want to be you.
Yes.
It
No,
was
that's seriously
amazing.
me too. Like,
Yeah.
how can I be you? Danielle was, first off, her outfits were beautiful. Every
Yeah.
single outfit for the week, spot on. But I'm still thinking about her boots from the first day. I know I'm like fangirling over her, but I agree. When we got to speak with her, especially after at AgeTech after dark, that was really nice. But right away, like, we saw her speak at one of the first things the first day, right?
Yeah.
She literally gets off the stage and is talking right with us and is so welcoming and so lovely and was so interested in what we were doing. And
I
then
know.
she was even including me in discussions on different panels, like as I'm in the audience and I'm like, hey, because
So
I can't be
awesome.
quiet
I
and I'll always take up my microphone. So I'm like, I'm down, and Danielle knew it.
She
So
did. She was like, "Where's my girl
yeah,
that's
she was
gonna
like, okay, what's your
interact?"
opinion? But she was wonderful, and just, yeah, she really was the perfect person to ask to moderate everything.
I think so
So good
too.
job, AARP team, for picking
Yeah.
Danielle.
It was so well done. It was so well done. And a part of that was the Samsung Health House, which also, in addition to all of the various exhibits, this house housed a lot of the different startups, anywhere from Samsung TV to Tembo Health to the refrigerator, just to see everything in real time, how it would look in your space. We were able to meet the team from SingFit, so that was
Yeah.
exciting.
Stacy and Chloe were
I
wonderful,
love
and Andy
that.
was so awesome too. All of you are.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it was so fun to meet everybody. And then Me Care, super cool to see all that they're doing for caregivers and
Yes.
the data.
John Wall.
Yep. So awesome. So awesome. And of course, for people that want to know in detail everything that was present in the health house, we again will put the website and you can go in and see. But it was really cool to have it set up that way, just to see it in action, right?
Yes, and it just really helps envisioning what it could be like in a home,
Yep.
and actually what our future is going to probably look like, which is really cool.
I know.
But especially, I just wanted to say, for John Wall with Me Care, I really am excited for the developments coming with that company, and I'm excited to watch where they go. It was just really interesting to see, to hear him talk about the things that they are working towards,
Right.
being able to monitor medication, taking way more closely. And that was really a talk subject, that was
Yeah.
being talked about, was how in the future, are we
Right.
going to be able to make sure people are taking medication? And I know this is way, way, way in the future. Well, maybe it's not. But someone said to me, and I can't remember who, but they were like, eventually we'll probably have a way where there's a little sensor in each pill that dissolves, but can
Mm,
tell if it was taken at what time.
fascinating. Yeah, fascinating. It
Like,
really
what?
is. And I think it's one of those things where that was part of the panel too, is like we're going to be seeing more and more hospital at home, acute care
Yes.
rehab, home care services, where we need these modalities to be able to implement all of that really seamlessly and give us data, right? And empower us to
Yeah.
make really good decisions to be able to do our care really well at home.
Absolutely. We need to empower people, and of course, yeah, keep them safe in their homes longer.
Yeah,
But yeah, beautiful layout. The panels were wonderful. They kept things going. There was always something pretty much happening.
I think so too.
You weren't ever, I could never tell you I was bored hanging out at that area. And it was really cool to see, because again, I'm a true for forever AARP fan. So it was really exciting to be around everything that was going on. But I know that we had some specific panels that really stuck out to us that we
Right.
were feeling really passionate about, and the people we got to meet from the panels right
I
after we like
know.
ran to the stage after, we're first. No, I'm just
Exactly.
kidding.
We like
But
got
we
in
were
line.
ready.
We were
We
ready.
were ready.
We
We
got
waited
in
in lines, y'all, but mainly we were the first ones because we were not messing around, because
line.
all these people are amazing. We're like, we have to know these people. We have to support these people. So,
I agree.
what's the first one you want to talk about?
We're going to talk about the panels, but before I do that, because you and I both want to mention another incredible person with the panels, but the space was beautiful. I felt that it was really easy to navigate, and how they had it set up. You could easily
Yeah.
explore the various age tech collab companies, the Samsung Health House. all of the different exhibitors. Do we want to touch on some of those exhibitors first, and then we'll kind of dive into the panels?
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, first I wanted to head over to Raz because I have been associated with Raz for over a year and a half or so now, and love the Raz memory phone, created for people dealing with cognitive loss that, would still like a smartphone, and the caregiver can do all of the programming and all of everything they need to keep it in order and make sure it's being charged and things like that on their side. And so to keep them safe as well. But I wanted to meet that team because we distribute the Raz at Egeria. So it was really nice to see them. And of course, they had on their TV screen our girl, Adria. So Adria from Be Like Care is one of Raz's amazing like influencers they work with. Why can't I think of partners? Sorry.
Yep.
Partners. And she was on their screen, so we're hoping she'll be with us next year there. But really great to see Raz and their team and to see them have a presence there.
It was. And it was so fun to see Adria being able to do what she does so well, which is share about products for people. So
she's the best.
For anyone that's looking for her voice on that, she's truly amazing.
She explains it so well. I learned so much from that girl.
I know, I did too.
But can you explain LEQ to us? Am I saying it correct?
LEQ. So this was a really fun one for me because I had interviewed the CEO, Dor Schooler, about, I want to say maybe about a year ago for my podcast.
Wow.
And LEQ is a personal care companion robot developed by Intuition Robotics, and it is designed to empower independence, promote healthy living, enhance social connections. And I remember getting ready for that interview, and I was kind of nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, Dora and I hadn't had the opportunity to visit previous to the interview. We were connected through one of their colleagues and jumping on the call, which is so fun. He's wonderful, and he just shared his heart for why they do what they do, how important it is to fight that loneliness and that isolation. They're just doing so many great things. They've partnered with the state of New York City. They have a lot of different initiatives happening. So I got to meet Dor in person, which was so much fun. It was so much fun. And we'll get into that at the end, but I had the opportunity to meet about how many former guests? A lot.
Oh my gosh. I know you need to count. Did you count?
I do. I feel like I counted.
We need to.
Yeah, we do need to count. But it was incredible.
So many. It was really cool to see because they're like excited to meet you.
To just have that in-person time. Zoom has been great and it works, but it is just so awesome to be able to meet in person when my guests, I feel like I've developed sometimes friendships, right?
How could you not be a friend with you after hanging out for an hour? Are you kidding?
Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Well, I really feel it's that, and you do this too, like, we not only do what we do, but I believe it's about building community. So I want to continually sing the praises of my guests and what they're doing. And podcasting, it's evergreen. It lives on. It is always relevant. It's always searchable. You can always have access to it and share. So if I'm able to continually do that and celebrate my guests, I 100% want to do that. So yeah, it was super
Absolutely.
cool.
No, I love that so much. And I have to say, it was cool because we got to go over to Nobi too.
Oh my gosh, Nobi.
And meet some of their team.
Beautiful. And they're doing amazing
things. I love Nobi.
I know. Okay, let's talk about what is Nobi.
So Nobi is... Yeah. They're like, hello. And of course I go up and I say Nobu, the sushi place, because I was hungry. No, but our friend Michelle Rockind, I think I'm saying it right. Michelle Rockind.
Yeah.
Rockind?
Yeah.
I am really bad with last names, guys, but I love Michelle. And she's an angel babe. And so, of course, we had to go see Michelle. But she works for Nobi, and they're a really cool Belgian company. And we met some of their Belgian team, which is awesome. And they create these, like, these lights that are censored, and they keep people safe in their home and can like alert if someone falls, and it's a safety device, but it's
Right.
disguised as a beautiful
It's
light fixture, and it's
beautiful.
private. Like it's not like camera watching you.
Yep.
You're a stick figure or something, like you're not going to be showing yourself nays around your living room,
I
okay,
know.
maybe not living room. Is that just me? I should have said bedroom, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you, but like you could have it in the restroom even. So I can see that in senior living and at home being a lifesaver,
Oh
because
my
a lot of
goodness,
people
yeah.
won't, if they fall, push their life alert buttons or whatever, call out for help because they don't want to. The light will take that over.
Right,
And I love
right.
it. But
Yeah.
there's more to it. I'm probably not explaining it well.
Oh, no, you did a really great job, and I think it was so cool to see how the power of design comes together with safety and technology
Yeah.
and offering that dignified care. One thing they mentioned is that because it's a lamp, right? But it has all of this
Yeah.
AI technology that is detects and prevents and predicts falls. But the beauty of that too is they were saying when someone, let's say we're laying down in bed and our loved one and someone's getting up, it senses that and it automatically slowly creates light so that your loved one can see and is also safe. So not only does it do so much more, but it also is so practical. And I can't imagine the times I've gotten up in the middle of the night, tripped over my shoe, trying to get to the restroom. So the Europeans, they just know style, man. I tell you.
They get it
They
so
do.
much.
It's beautiful too.
Always.
Yeah. It's so stylish.
Always. That's why I mainly sell products from the Netherlands, my friend.
I know. It's just a
It's
fun,
amazing.
it's very, very clean and stylish and modern.
I
It's so
love it.
pretty.
And that
Yeah.
matters.
It does.
It
I think
matters.
we want to
You do
feel that
not,
we're
yeah,
not in a, uh, what's the word I'm looking
medical
for? A
setting. You
medical
don't
setting or
want to live in
clinical.
a
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You don't want to live in a hospital, even in your home, and like, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just, you know what? Actually, segueing from that,
Yeah.
in your home, you don't want it to be clinical, right? When you're aging in place, you don't want to like do all these, because we learned at one of the talks that the biggest expense is like 24% of out of pocket family caregiver costs
Yeah.
is modifying their home. And that was like the first talk we went to. I forgot which one it was, but I think it was the digital equity inclusive AgeTech. Because it's like, if it's not affordable, if they're spending all their money so they can
Right.
keep people in place longer, because you can't afford memory care or
Yeah.
assisted living, right?
Yeah.
So I met this other company the last day, WheelPad. And I know I told you about them because I was so excited, and I think you're
Yes.
already connected
I
with them.
did. Yep.
So WheelPad is the future of, I think, needing accessible environments in the home fast without having to wait for doing innovations in your, or renovations, not innovations, you know what I mean,
Yes.
renovations
Yes.
in the home. So I know it's a pricier thing, but it makes sense in the long run. So a wheel pad is literally like you can rent it's like a trailer type thing. It's like a little home, but it can fit even in your driveway. People will put them in their backyard, whatever. So if you have someone coming home from rehab, or someone who, is now, not able to walk up the stairs, and you want a place for them to safely age at home, you can rent this piece of equipment that's a huge home, and it even has a Hoyer lift like line in the middle if you need it.
Amazing.
Accessible shower, accessible everything, and then they have their own space, so you don't have to do your whole home over, and that can take a long time while your loved one is progressing
Right.
through their time or having a hard time living in their home. This is cool.
Wow. After you and I had talked about them, I went on their website and looked at just so I could get a visual.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It's beautiful too.
gorgeous.
It really is. And what a unique way to solve a problem a lot of families are having. Is like how do we do that, and how do we do that well with privacy, with accessibility, having those accommodations. Yeah, it was
The
really cool to see.
privacy, that's so true,
Yeah.
because it's like, when your loved one, if you're able to afford this, like your loved one will move into your home, and then it's not their space. They're moving into your space, and that can
Hmm.
take away a lot of their autonomy on top of everything else. And so if they have their own space that they can bring their own stuff in, make it their own, and it's private, but it's also accessible and it's safe for them, that's huge. And
Yeah.
that's a great way to promote that independence in the home, and also give both of you the room you need as they, progress, and they're able to rent or buy. And the
Right.
renting I love is because what if you are just getting out of rehab because you broke a leg and you just need, or broke a hip and you just need a while?
Yeah.
Like you don't need it forever. Or, you could buy it because your loved one might live with dementia for 10 more years,
Oh,
and
for
they might
sure.
need that.
Yeah.
But I just think it's really cool. And I'm just going to read the back of their like info packet I have. It just
Please.
says an affordable housing solution that creates the space for those with mobility challenges to live and heal at home now. So
Mm,
obviously healing, not the same with dementia care, but you may need a space.
right.
I know caregivers that have literally renovated their entire homes for
Yep.
their loved ones to have like an apartment in their basement. And
Totally.
that's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. My family
Yeah.
moved houses. We had been
Oh,
we had been in our family
so
home
much.
since I was born. And when I was 15, we moved houses to accommodate having a spot for my grandma to move in. So I relate to that so much because if we would have had this option, we probably wouldn't have. I mean, think of the expense of moving and buying a whole
Moving.
nother house. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
mind blowing, but people do it because you want to make those adjustments. So yeah, you're right. It's a huge expense and something to consider. Yeah.
I look forward to it being more, just everything in
Yep.
the world being more
I
affordable for family
know. I
caregivers.
know. Me
Don't get me
too.
started.
Me too.
But
Me
but yeah,
too.
so it's
Yeah.
just those are exciting ones for
Yeah,
sure.
it really is. Yeah. And, looking at some of the other, we were able to walk through all of the different booths, but I think if we talked about each company, we would be here for a really long
I
time. And
know, I was
people
just
might,
gonna say that I have a whole list and I was like, oh
I
my gosh,
know, I
people.
know, I
But
know.
okay,
Okay,
but
so
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
probably talk to them on your podcast. So just like everyone,
yep. Yep.
stay in tune with the podcast
Yes,
check
yes,
and check
yes.
out, what comes out,
I
and we
know,
will
I
share more
know.
because it is
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm going to go through though, and I'm going to at least highlight who was present, and then we can dive into some of those. And we're going to actually go in depth a little bit as we kind of walk through what panels we attended because some of those people were a part of the panels. But Artifacts was there. They are a mobile web based platform that lets you preserve memories, share stories, build legacy. Dooro Devices, which is a mobility aid, it keeps people walking safely. We talked about LEQ. Lotus is a wearable ring that controls objects at home by pointing. How cool is that? Lucid develops digital therapeutics for mental health and wellness. Mind Mics is a within ear health monitoring software. It helps monitor heart health to help users better respond to stress and recover faster. Presidio offers a digital vault to capture and securely share users' most important information with people in their life. Pronto, which we're going to talk about because we went to that panel, they are the world's first and only holographic communications platform. It was pretty cool to see. Raz Mobility, we talked about. Sana Health is a device that improves physical recovery through the wearable audio visual tech. It is a design breakthrough for fibromyalgia. Tembo Health, which makes healthcare effortless for patients with chronic, complex conditions. And Tuned improves people's hearing quality by combining advanced AI and smart hearing aids to introduce an easy to use, affordable hearing care solution. Voice It is an exclusive speech recognition. It's built for non standard speech, enabling those with speech disabilities to interact with mainstream voice technology. Wesper was there. They deliver a powerful sleep management platform. It addresses sleep conditions from testing to ongoing care. WheelPad, which we had just shared about how awesome they are and provides transitional housing. And Xander is on a mission to help people with hearing loss better understand sounds and speech.
I got to try their glasses. It was really cool.
Was it super cool? Okay, what
Okay,
was
so
it
it's
like?
literally glasses on, and if you can't like hear very well, or it's harder for you to process what someone's saying and you need a second and you read easier than hearing, it literally gives you captions right next to the person's
Oh
face as
my,
they're talking to you.
what?
And then
Brilliant.
you could like, if you're on a talk, the person talking could have the microphone that comes with it, and they'll only get the captions from them.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
yeah.
Incredible.
And I asked
Incredible.
how I could be helped in early stages of dementia to keep people social.
Oh my
Sorry, it's really cool.
gosh. That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, it's just like, I love people's brains that they come up with all of this really cool stuff. It's so
I
cool.
agree. Did you say next stride?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not
sorry, you're still
yet.
going.
Yeah, no, but
Go
let's
ahead.
let's talk about it. Let's talk
Okay,
about it.
Next Stride was another one I really liked. I met the co-founder and COO, William Thompson. Oh my gosh. So it's a device it's $500. It goes onto any walker or cane, and it literally has like a laser to show them where to step. So it's really good for Parkinson's to keep people from like
Wow.
shuffling and keep them safer when they walk. It's great for people with dementia if they need to see where they're going and, like where they need to step with their walker. It is cool. I love
Amazing.
it. Just have it.
Amazing.
Yeah,
No,
really
I
cool.
know. There was just so many cool,
I know.
cool
It blows my
people.
mind.
Did you have a chance to talk to the people at XR Health?
No, I did
Okay.
not.
So XR Health was also there. They are a virtual clinic that empowers people to receive care with licensed therapists. They have tech that integrates with immersive VR and AR with advanced data so the therapist can provide that comprehensive care from anywhere. We know that mental health is such a topic of conversation. And
Yes.
then Zoog is reinventing family communication through cutting edge AR and advanced animation to bring the storyteller's creation to life. And we, again, Carrie and I want to apologize if our pronunciations are not amazing. We wanted to get this information out and
Yeah.
know that we dearly appreciate all of these companies and are doing our best, and we're learning as we're going. So there was
Yeah.
another,
And if
yeah.
sorry, no, I'm such a jerk.
No,
It's my
I love
ADHD. I
it. Go for
always
it. That's what
see
makes
this
our
is
conversation so fun. Go for it.
no, you're like
And
that's
this
what
is
makes our
editing.
conversations rough. No,
It's
leave this in. Like everyone needs to know. I finally have an excuse for why I cut everyone off in my life. It's
Oh
my
my gosh.
ADHD, and I think I'm gonna forget it, and so I literally have no filter, and I cut people off, and I'm the meanest person. But at least I have a reason now.
Oh,
Late in life
so good.
ADHD diagnosis, shout out. And I already forgotten that's the other part of me.
Hilarious. Oh my God. I love
Wait.
you. I love you. Well, if you remember, cut me
Oh,
off again. Okay, go.
if you want to learn about any of what we just said, go to the AgeTech Collaborative AARP site. They're all there, and the ones I believe that they just put in for their next round of AgeTech group, they're
Yes.
also going to be on there. So check
Yes.
out even more companies we haven't even met yet.
Yes,
But I
for
mean, we
sure.
have personally,
I
but just
know.
not at
I
CES.
know.
But we're excited
Yes.
about some of those in the next little graduating class, if you want to
I
call them, of the
know.
pitch groups.
I'm so
And
excited about that.
because like Carrie Aalberts was in the fall one, correct? Or the summer one?
I think so. And then, did
Yeah,
you say
I had no
Bream?
idea.
Did you say Bream?
Bream is the next one.
Yeah, and Bream,
So
I
like,
just did an interview with
yeah,
her yesterday, Ryan
love.
Reed, and you know Ryan, so we know even
Yes.
next year is going to be just so
Even
exciting too.
better.
Even
Yeah.
better.
So it's
Yeah.
just if you guys want to go see like what's coming, go look at their website because it's filled with cool companies
Yeah.
that you should connect with.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the episode description so people
Yeah.
can just click on that link. You know,
But now you
another
don't have to put every company.
I know. That's true. It would be like a lot of
It'd be a
info.
long time. Long time.
Part of the exhibit was a Samsung Health House, and this featured 10 startup
Yes.
companies from the Age Tech Collaborative portfolio. And Samsung is, oh gosh, this is so cool. And we had the opportunity to meet the gentleman who is heading that up.
Dr. Han Pak is from the Samsung group, and he was an incredible speaker, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I wanted to make sure that I get his position correct. He is with Samsung Health. He's the VP Global Head of Digital Health for Samsung. So he is helping make sure that all of the Samsung innovations and working through AARP, all of the ones that they're working with in AgeTech, are supported
Yeah.
by a big company like Samsung, who is, obviously international, and then also being a champion for making sure that all technologies that start to come out are all going to be able to connect. And that was the panel I went to, is because if we can't connect we're not making it accessible for people. So
Right.
that's why Samsung connects with Alexa. And
Yeah.
that's why, so we need Apple to be in on it. We need everyone to be able to connect. And so when
Right.
we're making tech and when companies start, they need to keep that in mind, just because you're just keep creating a barrier for yourself to not be in a connected home for people or a connected community.
For sure. I agree. And I'm so glad you brought that up because it is really, if we are going to do this work together and we know the massive change and shift that's happening and going to happen, we have to be able to, yeah, it has to connect. We have to do it together, which is why I love that the word collaborative is a part of all of this. And they had this Samsung Health House, which did include and show in real practicality and in real time how all of this works together. So anything from Samsung technology to refrigerator, microwave. We wanted just to highlight a couple that we had the opportunity to really talk with. So a lot of the companies that we had mentioned, but that are also a part of the collaborative were present, and that's also available on the website. But we were able to visit and meet with the people from SingFit, which is a digital health platform. It turns your home into a therapeutic music studio. That was really cool. We were able to meet Andy Tubman, who is the co-founder of SingFit and the chief of therapeutics. And we were also able to meet with Stacy Dobowich, who we've been able to be connected with on LinkedIn, but able to have her show us around how SingFit was in the Samsung house and to be able to support each other. Guess who's back? Back
again. You have to use that.
Okay. We're back.
We are on a Saturday.
On a Saturday. We had so much we wanted to talk about. We had to be like, oh, time out. we gotta reconvene the next day.
Yes, we needed rest in between.
Oh, so much to cover. It's just like so many fun things. Oh my goodness. You can't see me, but I have like tears coming out.
We've been talking for over a half an hour, and then we're like, oh, we have to start. Oh, we gotta start.
We gotta do it.
So,
oh my gosh.
Sorry, y'all.
It's like happy tears. So thank you.
Oh yeah, I promise I'm not making her cry, guys. That would be really sad.
Oh, so many happy tears. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yes. We are, let's get in the zone. Where are we? We are at CES 2024. We are at day 1.
We walked in.
We're not on. And yes, take it away.
Yeah. Oh.
Take it away.
Oh my god. Oh, we gotta edit out some of the laughter.
Yeah, it's gonna be so annoying. People are gonna hate us and be like, no one cares about CES enough to listen to this.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so
Don't
funny.
make me cry. Okay.
Okay. You start because you were just starting to share and I interrupted you.
Okay, so we're walking in. Okay. Picture this. Day 1, CES 2024. So that sounds like an echo. Okay. I'm trying to be cool. Okay, so I'm not cool. And you're walking in to the Venetian, a huge conference center. It's like not even a conference center, you guys. It's so big. And you walk in and you see this gorgeous AARP stage, small smart home, whole area that's huge. And it's buzzing. And it's exciting, and there's music, and there's just people everywhere and innovation everywhere. So that's where we're at.
Oh my gosh. I think what's so impressive is that they, for the 4 days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they had panels and conversations happening basically throughout those days. So really now next year, I know I'm going to make sure that I plan my time so that I'm able to really sit and be a part of all those panels. We were able to sit in on a good handful of them, but understanding, gosh, they were just so well done. And the people were just so great that they put together. And I think you and I we had conversation and we're like, we just want to highlight the few that really really spoke to us. And one was really cool. It was the first time we got to meet Andy Miller. They were talking about how do we build a beloved fan-powered brand. They talked with Ryan Bashara, who is the leads the revenue and strategy for the Los Angeles Football Club. And so they were really talking about how they bring that fan power to the brands that we are interacting with. And when you think about it, it's like, okay, football, AgeTech, how does that coincide?
Yeah.
But it really is about when you build things that you are passionate about, and you can impart that to the people surrounding you and get people a part of your vision. And really, when you looked around, that's exactly what the AgeTech Collaborative was doing. It was you're building this ecosystem of we're all fans now, right, of all of these different companies, of AARP, and being able to celebrate that. So it was really cool to hear them dialogue about that. One of the sessions that really left a mark on us was the community care for aging well. It was with Dr. Vipin Naikor and the chief medical officer for AARP, Dr. Charlotte Yeh, moderated by Danielle Duplin. And it was really encouraging to hear about the new models of community care that are happening in not only in the US, but in Canada. So Vipin is the co-founder and CEO of Home Care Hub. And if you're not familiar with Home Care Hub, you have to check it out. It is small, high-quality 2 to 12 person shared care homes on demand at an affordable price. So they are matching care needs, language, the disease process, and interest. And hearing their conversation around how are we addressing the solutions with providing complex healthcare with the challenge of our healthcare system, right, is overwhelmed. If we don't want that large institutional environment, how are we creative to decrease the cost? And just those convergence of solutions, I know that that's what AARP Charlotte was talking about. And how do we build these complex tech systems to address all of these concerns? And they're using a lot of data, a lot of evidence-based technology. They're creating community in ways that allow you to be safe and supported. And so hearing how they also take all of these tech innovations, even with the AgeTech Collaborative, and then are curating and implementing them in these environments in home care, right? So you see all of these different ecosystems coming together in healthcare, in tech, how they're all supporting each other, which I think was a conversation we witnessed as a theme throughout the whole, few days, was we have to do this in a way that we come together so that we can actually solve more of these challenges.
Absolutely. So well said, Nicole. And they're really going at such a difficult, issue, as you're saying, and we need to go at this. And I think Home Care Hub has such a wonderful foundation, and I hope they get humongous, because this is exciting to see. And they do so much more than, the home care and the shared living, and, there's adult day programs. I mean, there's so many things that they're doing to support people to age better and, have the support that they need, especially in communities, as we know, that don't have support, that are very isolated.
Right.
So
I agree. And I'm glad you brought up the different things that they offer. There is I'm looking even, right, those care apartments, home care search. You mentioned the adult day programs. Just having someone to help you navigate the complex system of care. I know a lot of families are like, how do I even get the help that I need with the concerns that I have? So it's exciting, and I'm really supporting what they're up to. So looking forward to supporting them as they grow. Absolutely.
After the first day, of course, my feet were killing me. I don't know about you. I'm sure your feet were killing already too, day one.
Oh, lots of walking. Although I did wear tennies, which is now I'm
Yes.
as you get older, you get wiser, and you realize that comfort comfort needs to be priority.
Oh no, we showed that at the club the next night with our shoes. But no, I just like I loved it because yeah, we had a chill night. I unfortunately am the worst Las Vegan and had the worst way to go to the link and it was freezing. But it's fine. We made it
We
and we
did.
went to a random restaurant. But shout out to Bill for buying us dinner. We appreciate you.
We got to really like
Got
rehash
to
the day. It was just so good.
Yes. Yes, we got to get out all of our exciting thoughts for the day and got to catch up in person, which is always exciting. So that was nice. And then I know we both were saying how we couldn't sleep because like our bodies were tired, but our minds were like,
I know. I was like, I have too much adrenaline. I'm too excited. There was so many amazing things happening.
Yes, I was just like, I don't want to forget things. I got to write this down. And I kept going to my phone and writing notes. And I was like, you will remember. You're excited.
Yeah.
Like, you will not forget these things.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
I know.
But yeah, so again, Christmas. Okay, day 2. Where are we at?
Day 2. Well, thanks to you for picking me up. We got to do our routine of going to the Venetian again and get there. We had a deadline of time. We really wanted to get there for holograms for care and companionship. That was a panel that we really wanted to see. And it was funny because we walked in and I go, Carrie, I've seen that before. And you were like, what? I was like, I never watch the Kardashians. I don't. I'm like not a reality Kardashian person. My daughter, on the other hand, has had it on, and I watched the episode where Kris Jenner had the proto in her. She had to put in Khloe's home so that she could be more present. It was obviously part of the storyline, but I saw it in that episode and I was like, Carrie, I saw that on the Kardashians and here it is, which is super cool to talk about. How this is innovative. They did it in that way, but a part of this panel was Danielle moderating, Howie Mandel.
Wait, can I just say something about that? Because you were like, I saw a post this morning that Howie's here. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe with his like germophobia, he's going to be here. Like, oh my God. We're both thinking it's in person. Yes, technically he was there.
Yeah.
But it was funny because we definitely didn't think it was in this form that he was going to be there.
I know. And you nailed it because there he was. And he even mentioned, he's like, this is brilliant. It allows me to be places when I'm not comfortable with the germs and all of that. So, to your point, it was like you called that. You were like, I don't know if he's going to do that. And then there. So
it's perfect for him. But
really
go on.
It really is. So it also included the founder and CEO of Proto, which is David Nussbaum, and the Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs at the University of Central Florida, Barry Hoffman. And this panel really got to share all of the ways that they are able to have healthcare delivered in personal ways through this hologram. It was just really cool to see it.
It was incredible. And I'm a fan of theirs now. Like I'm following them on Instagram and it's like, obviously I'm focused more on how they're going to help in the medical space and keeping families together. And I'm excited to see their ability for experts from all over the world to help people in other places in the world. And that it's not going to be, hopefully it won't be, what is it when you gatekeep? What's the word? But hopefully people won't gatekeep this and make it really, really expensive forever. Yeah. Because it needs to be available for medical professionals and for families and for people to be able to get the medical care they deserve, especially when you're in rural environments. If one day the U.S. paid for one of these in each rural town in the U.S. so a specialist can see them at any time, these are the things we need to be thinking about. And so that was really cool to me. And then on the other aspect, right now it's really rich people like the Kardashians, but hopefully one day it's where you literally have, hopefully we don't have that huge of a box in our home, but we have an ability. I've seen like in some of their stuff that it's a small box, but it's your grandparents standing there reading you a book, to sleep to your kids. And there's so much diversity in it, but ever since I've even just started following them since CES, they have it in clothing stores. They have it in, this basketball arena, and so you can like talk and see your basketball player.
Yeah.
It's
It
amazing.
really is.
And
It really
I think it's
is.
going to be really, and like Howie said, he can now do shows all over the world. Like we can actually save our planet if we're not flying
I
everywhere.
know.
Just
Yeah.
saying, like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
maybe if like these
Yes.
stars don't have to go everywhere every day, cough, cough, Taylor Swift. But like you could maybe do this, and it's just I'm excited to see how it can help in a lot of ways. But of course, yeah, the medical field and teaching people.
Yes,
That's
it
what they
was the
talked about is,
education.
yeah,
Yeah, and being able to really have the best doctors and nurses from anywhere in the world and
anywhere. How
being
cool.
able to have access to that. I mean, it's a really incredible, incredible platform.
Because that is one of the biggest barriers to care.
Yeah.
Is having the ability to see someone. And obviously this would be a huge barrier. Another barrier would come about is
Cost.
availability and
Yeah.
getting to these people, costs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
don't even get started,
Yeah.
but this is a step in the direction where we can hopefully help people that would not be helped in as of now,
Right. Right.
that would not have gotten help.
Yeah.
And but I'm excited for the education piece too. Like how cool would it be one day when I'm huge as Dementia Darling and I can just beam into someone's
And be
gerontology
right
class
there.
and say
Yeah.
I'm here and teach them everything I know, and
Mm-hmm.
then peace out and go to the next class.
Yeah.
Like hello, and actually answer questions in real
In
time.
real
And it's,
time.
like,
Yeah.
okay, let's take it back. I would way rather have Tipa Snow beam in than me. Okay, Tipa should be able to beam into anywhere, into any community. They should be able to go to like the local library and take the Tipa Snow training in person.
Yeah.
Like all the
Because when
how
you
cool.
see her, how she teaches, it's like
You
full.
want to do it.
Yeah, it's like full body teaching. Honestly,
Yeah.
is how Tipa teaches.
Oh, you have to see her entire
Mm-hmm.
body. You have to see. She is. I like to think I take after her. I'm very expressive and like I show when I'm doing things, and it means a lot, especially in dementia care, because she's on another level. I mean, she will put you on the spot, and she can't maybe do that as a hologram, but she can still. She would be able to call you out as a hologram still, and say get up, do this, which would be amazing. And more people need to have access to this because poor Tipa can't do it for can't do this for everyone in the world, and she needs help. So wouldn't that be cool if we could do things like this in the future?
It just gives, like you said, it gives us be able to have the reach and more of the impact for families and healthcare and older adults and humans in general, which is what our mission is. Yeah.
100%.
So then Carrie and I decided, okay, we better divide and conquer. We both wanted to hear some different panel sessions. And I went to the Digital Equity and Inclusive AgeTech with Tom Camber, who was the founder and executive director of the Older Adults Technology Services, so OATS and Senior Planet. Steve Ewell, who is the executive director of CES, so the Consumer Technology Association Foundation, which is a charitable foundation with a mission of linking seniors and peoples with disabilities with technology that enhances their lives. So the foundation does incredible work. It was really fun to see him in person talking about what they were up to. Also on the panel was Jeffrey Rose, who was the director of special initiatives for OATS. So that panel was moderated by Danielle. The conversation was really about how do we create the future we want to live in, and the investment in older entrepreneurs was a topic of conversation. How are we growing that entrepreneurship over 50? I think they were saying, an article and data has come out that entrepreneurs that start later in life are actually much more successful, which is super cool, right? As we're growing and as we're aging and we have new ideas, and that there is a startup program at Senior Planet, which I need to dive in a little bit more and kind of understand the breadth of their program, but just that what they offer, and that the longevity to health and the human lifespan, it really makes those later years more successful and impactful. And how do we use and make the most out of tech? And with the foundation, it's like, how are they they've been able to partner with different organizations so that people have access to technology, whether you're low income, have fixed income, closing the gap on the income side. They were really feeling like they're making a lot of progress. They're seeing the industry respond. And even within, I think you said, just even the last year and this coming year, the focus is on older adults and that disabled population, that we are increasing the recognition and the awareness that that is the trend in the last decade, and that tech, can be ambient to home and just a part of daily life, right? The integration we're seeing with AI. Jeff at Oates was talking about, we have to give these older adults the skills that they need, and that legislation has passed recently for digital skills training for older adults. So we are going to be seeing a lot more of these initiatives that are funded, right? So it's like, let's take advantage of that to really tie how do we tie the tech to outcomes, right? And he was saying it was super cool. He's like, initially they come for the social connection, right? Because 1 out of 5 is clinically isolated. But what they do is they leave with this rich understanding. They've not only gained the connection piece, they've gained the skills piece. And it's an incredibly diverse population. They're seeing a lot of demand in things that help people be less sedentary, they were saying. So a lot of the tech and the initiatives is like, how do we add more movement into our day? How do we increase that helps our brain health as we're moving and being out in our environments more, because being less sedentary also aids, and we're more connected to our community in some ways. And so the training that's involved, they're saying that they really approach their training to meet the different needs that exist. Like when you look at, let's say we say older adults, within that is a larger age range, a huge diverse population. We're not just, we have to be unique in our approaches to meet all of those various different needs, right, that might exist. So they were saying that they might not hire former tech teachers. I mean, they do, but they might hire a former social worker or a teacher that knows how to teach, how we learn from our peers really well. So they're being really creative in how they're delivering the tech solutions. How do we use tech safely? I loved how Danielle said, older adults are cautious clickers. Right? We're cautious clickers. When we go on our phone or on the computer, we're not like, do I want to dive into this website? Because I don't really know if I click on something, is it going to do something that I don't want it to do, right?
Yeah.
So how do we gain the confidence to explore technology without being intimidated by it? Which is why the training is so crucial. There are many ways to get involved with Oates, the foundation, talking with others on working with the tech, and just how amazing that AARP is bringing all of this ecosystem of the tech companies, the foundations, the educators. I just think it's super, super exciting to see how it's coming together. And one of the things that they did bring up was that senior living needs to have a hand on the pulse of the tech landscape and this education component. And because there's funding with the government to bring forth these digital skills training, right? The digital equity, is there broadband internet available? They were talking about there are affordable internet programs, right? Affordability programs. There are subsidy programs, 10 years ago that never existed, and now they do. So what are we doing to make sure that we're getting these resources to the people that need it? Steve was talking about just the excitement that CES as a whole, right? Because CES is massive. And the AgeTech Collaborative is a piece of that. But just to see his take on how excited they are about the innovation, the more investors are in AgeTech space. They're really looking for the best nonprofits to use tech to improve the lives of older adults. Just having access to all of the hardware, the education. I'm just excited. And as you can tell, I just went off on a tangent, but this session was so rich and so applicable for, I think, where the landscape is happening right now for older adults in age tech.
Wow, you said that so beautifully. I feel like I was able to be there, so I appreciate it
Aw,
because
yay.
I'm really sad I missed that.
I know.
But I was also they shouldn't have
You
scheduled
went
two
to an
such rich
amazing
ones
one, I
at the
know.
same time because mine too. I got out of mine like I love it. But no, thank you for summing that up so beautifully, and also I love that they brought up senior living having to be a part of it, and that. And, if anyone does know of, nonprofits that feel like they would be something that would, be a good match for that, that's something to seek out. I mean, being a part of this is cool and important. So, however, whoever is listening to this in your life can maybe advocate for different tech in with the people that you're working with, or the populations, you come across in your work. What can you do to promote that?
I agree.
Yeah. Well, when you were doing that, I was at a session which I got lost and I almost didn't make it.
Oh, no.
I'm so glad. I was on the side trying to get in the doors, and this one woman was like, maybe you should go to the front. I'm like, oh my God. So we're not going to go there.
Perfect.
But I made
You
it,
made it.
and I actually had a really
made
good seat. And they posted a picture, and you can see my shoulder. So
Oh, you're there.
I'm cool. So no, it was Guy Raz was the moderator. And then Andy Miller, AARP, of course, and then Dr. Han Pak with Samsung, which was such a rich discussion. And it started with a very intense video that was like, got your freaking attention, let me tell you. It was like just booming facts about how age tech will grow to a $100 trillion market, which is the largest in history of any market.
Wow.
In history.
Largest in history. Oh my God.
So this video, it was like lights went down and then it was like, boom, this fact. And it was like, ah! And I tried to video right away. I was like, like freaking out because I wanted it, but I missed the first fact. So until my video doesn't go well,
Right.
Okay, because you had to get the first fact. But whatever. But it was amazing, and it was really about how to simplify, any barriers that technology devices have for people that are aging. But what I really, really appreciated hearing from someone like Dr. Humpak that is full on a successful Samsung VP, like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? And he is heading, all the AgeTech collaborative kind of things, and they work with the AARP collaborative. So these companies that are part of this collaborative have an opportunity to work with people like people at Samsung, for goodness sakes. Like, this is a really cool group, right? And they're working on such important and impactful things for our future. And the passion that Dr. Pak had made me want to just get up and just be like, standing ovation for that man. I was so inspired by him. And again, it was just beautiful to see someone at his position speak about family caregivers.
Yeah.
He brought up family caregivers. He was like, how are we making tech that is going to support them in the home? And,
Amazing.
how is, and what I like is he said, Samsung, we want our tech, which everyone should want, to connect with all tech. Because if like Samsung only connects with Samsung things, people aren't going to want to use it. Like, we have to be able to connect people's homes or their environments, their communities, wherever they're, working, whatever. Everything needs to be connected. And that's why like they're able to connect to the Amazon Alexa stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like him shouting to the new tech companies, anyone thinking about doing tech, that you have to think about connectivity connectivity.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. Yeah, connectivity with all other devices, as as inclusive, as universal as it can be, is better for the person using it. It's better for the user. Right. So simplifying things, making things as connected as possible, and actually a big initiative for all of us with age tech should be getting quantified data from lifestyle in the home, because unfortunately we don't get a lot of like lifestyle data from people's homes. That's right?
True. Yeah.
We can, when they live in a community, if, people are seriously doing the data, it's a lot, but people in their homes, you can go to the doctor and they say, eat this. And you're like, you got it, boss. And then you go home and you do not got it, boss. You do not do it. Right. And that's me. Totally. So I get it. Like, and we're able to kind of like fib and stuff. And so he was really talking about how we have to be able to get data from homes to be able to create the data we need in the home.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, that's like one of the barriers to AgeTech and to any tech and what we're needing.
Right.
So that was something that was really interesting for people wanting to build tech. Keep that in mind. And then, yeah, just talking about how supporting the people, this is something I remember telling you after about the refrigerator.
Yeah.
The design,
Yeah.
I told you, I think. And so it was like, so again, Dr. Pack was talking about how we need to help people once they leave the doctor with a diagnosis, like I just said, right? They have a new set of rules for their life, maybe. Like you literally just got a diagnosis and they're like, change your life, like with diabetes, let's say. And they're like, you need to get on this, right? Or pre-diabetes, like that's something, for example. And now you're kind of left to your own devices with some rules.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right.
So it's on you, that your health is in your hands and your resources. And that's where the downfall happens, because people don't have resources. People don't have the support they need. People don't have, again, the resources, the money to buy the food that's appropriate, or even they live in a food desert that doesn't have it. They might not even have the food or know what's appropriate for them to eat. So he was talking about how even like he was talking to people that are designing refrigerators, because like Samsung, I think, has a smart refrigerator. I think it was in
They do. Yeah, it was in the house.
Home Collaborative.
Yeah.
And he was talking with the designers of it, and he was like, why do we have our lettuce and like our vegetable stuff on the bottom where it's hard to reach? You don't see it. It's not in your line of sight. But we have cheese and bacon right in the center. We usually have like Cokes right there in the front,
So
cheese,
true.
all that, sauces, the fun stuff, the leftovers of stuff, And he was like, so we're swapping it. We got to have the healthy stuff at eye level. It's just thinking of how we can support people in their daily lives to make healthier decisions. And that was just such a simple thing that I was like, mind blown, like never thought of that.
It's so true, line of sight. Like you go to what you see right away, right?
Yes,
if you have to dig for it, you forget you even have it. Like how many times do I have to throw away my bin of spinach because I forget that it's down in that drawer,
That bin of spinach, man.
Yeah. Can we talk about how lovely it was to meet him?
He's the best. And he was so sweet and so open to talk to us and, talk about family caregivers. He literally said, this is my favorite quote he said in the talk too. The most untapped resource in healthcare is a family caregiver.
Wow.
Hi. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Like a VP of Samsung said that. That's actually going to be a post on my page. Don't take that, anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, and then one more thing I will just say, a quote from his, we need tech that supercharges human caregivers. So any way that we can support a caregiver to make their caregiving process a little bit easier. And it made me think of like peel-aways. It literally made me think of your hair tool to put the hair up really fast. Like I'm thinking of everything that can help a caregiver in the moment, in their day, when shit is tough.
Yes, all of it, because it is it's like, how can we make this as supported and as easy as possible for the people that are caring for people?
He was saying with the like fridge thing, it's because we all know this, like, unfortunately our healthcare system, we're very reactive, not proactive in our health.
Yeah.
And he was saying that changing behavior, like we have to change behaviors, he said, hard. He said hard, and we have to meet them where they are to help them change their behaviors.
Wow.
And I thought that was really powerful, because I am such a I'll worry about it later. And I think oh, it's fine. My habits are fine. Like they're not fine. And it's just things like that, like them looking out for people with the tech that they maybe make is
so
kind
cool.
of, it's cool.
It's so deeper.
It's
so much bigger than that. Yeah. It is the power of, there's a book, The Power of Habits. There is so much that we do in our day that either sets us up for success or not.
Yeah. And all of us now working on this, it's only going to better all of us as we age and our families and the people, that come after us. And I mean, truly, it's crazy to think by 2050, a quarter of the world's population will be over 65.
Wow.
Quarter.
Wow.
Just, it's nuts.
We are unprepared. But all of these events get us
so
a little bit closer.
I know, but that's why, it's so cool to see people working together. And I hope other companies like Samsung step up.
I agree.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Well, and knowing that they have leadership that has that perspective, I think we left that conversation with him feeling so hopeful about it. Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe he gave me the time of day. Like, I'm like, hi, I'm Dementia Darling. Like, who are, like,
you know what? He
thank
really
you.
liked the pink that you were
He
wearing.
loved the pink I was wearing, and that's why I'm like, he's gonna remember me when I
He is.
email him.
And when I talk to him, I'm gonna be like, I was with the girl in pink. and then,
He did mention my
and
outfit,
then,
and that's why you wear really fun outfits to conferences, people. And when I
so
have pink
good.
hair at leading age, do not make fun of me.
Right, right.
Okay.
It's just your thing. It's your thing.
No, I love it. Yeah. No,
So
such
good.
wonderful people.
Such wonderful people. Another one that was really fun, and I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it was the age-friendly design and accessibility in gaming.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'm like, what is this
Yes.
conversation even going to be about? But it was with Stanley Pierre-Louis, who is the head of research for Activision Blizzard Media,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Schlacker. This, you guys, we apologize in advance for our
Yeah,
pronunciations.
sorry about that.
Schlacker. There we go. Jordan
You got it,
Schlacker.
girl.
He leads the measurement and insights for Activision Blizzard Media, and then Bob DeShooter, who is an associate professor of applied game design at Northeastern University. And I wanted to just highlight a couple things that not only are they talking about gaming and obviously the age tech world, but in general with Roadblocks, Call of Duty, Candy Crush. Like, it was super cool
Yeah.
for them to take and for us to talk about all of these games that are mainstream and how we
Yeah.
interact with them. And he was like, if you're not having fun, you're not going to come back to it. And a lot of the gaming and how there's so much science that goes into it with the age-friendly design and the accessibility, with keeping the mental acuity, connecting with others, having the ability to access other worlds as we are
Yes.
in the state that we are, and how that in these different opportunities, a lot of these games are now live games where they're meeting in person and they're meeting in groups and they're
Yeah.
managing that world together. And just not only, he was just saying, there's just as many girls as boys that participate, women as men, looking at the barriers, not looking at the barriers, but looking at the strengths. So how some of our skills can only get better with age, that they're seeing, like our language improves as we age, our altruism, our deeper social connection. So all of these things that are just so incredible about as we grow older, what we bring to the things that we do. And one really unique point they talked about was how is the New York Times now a gaming company? Who would have thought, right? Okay, so not only the crossword puzzle, but the oh my God, what's the game? It's like the word Wordle.
Oh yeah, Wordle. I suck at Wordle.
Yes. Wordle, like all of, obviously the New York Times is not a gaming company, but it is a big part of what they offer with
Yeah.
with the crossword puzzle, with Wordle, and even how they were talking about, I actually think they brought up in this panel about Stanley, right? The Stanley Cup. And how
Yes.
it elevates the storytelling, and right, the storytelling of Stanley is that it's a product that's been around since 20s, I want to say, and just how when they shifted the story they told around the Stanley Cup and the offerings, they embraced an entirely new demographic, right, which is women.
Yeah.
Women previously were not who they catered to, and so as they were sharing about the whole game piece, is that as we elevate storytelling and the emotional aspects to games, right? Think of the games that are that first person and you're doing it in groups. There's a story to be told within the game, and how that can create empathy and take you through a whole experience. I'm speaking as a very uneducated person, to be honest, if I'm being full disclosure in the gaming world, because I don't play those types of online games, but I have people in my life that do. I have a little bit of an insight to it, but it was just super cool to see just their breadth of thinking around all of those different components to gaming as we grow older. Just a totally new lens on it for me that was like fascinated by.
Absolutely. I loved how they were like, if you don't have a character in Call of Duty to choose that doesn't look like you as in your age, like that's no fun. Like,
Right.
if you want to like kind of
Yeah.
be, centered in the game, and a lot of people do like that. So it was cool to think like there's going to be more accessibility because, as we age, everyone's going to be playing video games across all generations. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really interesting to see how they're thinking of the future, and looking at things through that perspective was really interesting. And it segued wonderfully into day 3 when I went to Ted and Greg's talk, but we'll talk
Yeah.
about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I can't wait to hear that insight. One of my favorite panels was talking about the call to action, unified data for AgeTech.
Yes, this was so good.
So this panel consisted of Doug Leidig, who is the president and CEO of Asbury Communities, Nick Patel, who is with Thrive Well Tech, and Brad Williams, the Senior Vice President of Business Operations with Argentum, moderated by our Danielle. And this panel was, I think, dear to us in that it really talked about senior living. And both of us have backgrounds in senior living. We're also in the family caregiver, care economy world. They were saying interoperability is king in senior living. So as an industry and as we're embarking on like how do we use data to not only connect systems, have innovation, improve bottom line, enhance resident experience, and I would say family experience. It was kind of a deep dive into what makes that successful. What are we missing the mark on? My first thought was, and we'll kind of get into like the nitty gritty, but there was a vulnerability present in how these gentlemen were sharing
Yes.
that they were really honest and they knew where they had challenges and they knew where they wanted to go. And I just like you could like feel their heart behind why and what they were sharing.
100%. That was such a good takeaway, Nicole, because I agree. It was really cool to see, and to see a senior living CEO stand up there and talk like that, and to be so passionate. It was beautiful.
So when I was talking about like the vulnerability piece, that really was when they were sharing, it stood out that they were understanding that there's a lot of age tech coming in that
Mhm.
wants to interface with senior living, right? Like you and I see it every day in our work with all the different vendors and companies, not only supporting the senior living, the older adult, the families, and they were giving this really great perspective on how age tech can approach senior living so that there is movement and the things to be considerate of. What senior living as operators, what they're having to manage day to day and what they're thinking through. And so how do we use that information and then make it successful so that we can implement some of these technologies? And self-admittedly, they were like, we know we're behind the mark on what's the word I'm looking for? Like being up to speed, let's say, on like maybe the newest technology
Yeah.
or making change quickly. And they were saying, as unfortunate as COVID was, it was an accelerator in a lot of tech adoption. So the
Yes.
silver lining of that, it really had communities go, okay, like how do we implement these in a way quickly and adopt the tech so that we can provide the best experience for the people that we serve.
Absolutely. No, it was inspiring, and to talk to them after and to see how maybe we can support their, initiatives, and get it out there to all the companies.
I agree. I agree. I know that was one where we like right away were like,
We
thank
did.
you. Thank you for your work. And I think, Carrie and I had conversation when we got there in those 2 days that while we know CES is not a senior living event, right? Or AARP, we know the amount of age tech that is being implemented in senior living. And we also know the desire for companies to reach older adults. And one of the largest providers of people serving older adults is senior living. And it was very evident that there was a lack of senior living representation. When we talked to Doug after, he also noticed that, there were maybe only I think just a handful of other senior living, whether it was like executives or people in that industry. And it would have been really, I think, encouraging to see maybe more of a presence. And I think that's where, Carrie and I have had conversation of, we know that there's an entire care economy that's happening in AgeTech, in caregiver support businesses, in people that are employee benefit initiatives supporting family caregivers, in health insurance, in large healthcare organizations, and senior living. And so being able to bring, I believe, like, right, we're better together. So how do we take these two ecosystems and bring them together for the greater good? And I think that having conversations like this, having Doug and Brad share, it was like, thank you. Like, we both were like, thank you so much. And how can we support what you're doing? So I'm looking forward to further conversation. I think that there's going to be more opportunity to shape the future of what care looks like in that intersection of age tech and senior living.
I'm so excited to see where it can go. You said it perfectly. And we know there's barriers, there's lack of, ability to fund these kind of things at the moment, or, that we know that, it's hard to sell this to some people that are above us. Maybe we know these things are difficult, or else we would be doing them already, right? We know this, but we know that we have to adapt to technology as we are aging, and we have to get on this ASAP. As you said, with senior living, we have access in senior living to a lot of data to help drive this, these technologies that are coming. We can do so much. And I've been like outwardly excited about so many things that can help in senior living, of course, in the home as well. But it seems more likely price-wise that it would start in senior livings. A lot of these things, like the smart toilets. I mean, Toy Lab blows my mind. I bring them up all the time. Like, I need to stop talking about toilets, but I think they're freaking cool.
Right? Like,
Nobi. Like, these things we do need to be in the know about. And I know it's a lot of money to put forth, but like, if you are trying to bring people into your business and age with the times, you're going to need these things in place. So like, start now, because don't leave it for later when it's going to be way too overwhelming to adapt. Start slowly with the smart lights, just like the smart light bulbs. If you want to start that, just start with something. Start to adapt and start to try things that can make your staff's life easier potentially, and just be open to it in senior care. I know that was really a tangent.
No, it's important. And it made me think about, just we have to start somewhere, but we also have to have an awareness. And so it's almost even, let's have our finger on the pulse of what's happening around us, right outside, and what is happening in the care economy, what initiatives are taking place, what tech is even available, so that when we have the opportunity to maybe invest in some of these initiatives, we'll know where that investment will be well spent. And it also is maybe curating some of this information, because a lot of these options could be even purchased on an individual level. A lot of communities are life plan, independent living, assisted living, where the individual themselves can purchase and implement, or even have an awareness. So like, are we curating age tech available that we, let's say, stand behind, that we could recommend based on these various components of how you want your care to be, that here's what is available to you, right? And I think that's what I love about the AgeTech Collaborative, is it's essentially curating all of this tech for these various modalities that says, we stand behind it, and here's the opportunity for you to implement some of these options. So
love it. Absolutely.
I just want to say real quick before we move on to the next panel, I did see Guy Raz moderate one of the panels, and I was telling you I was fangirling because I listen to How I Built This all the time. And
Hmm.
I was able to see Guy Raz live do a How I Built This in Minneapolis, and it was just so fun to see him again. And he's another expert moderator that pulls out the best of the people that he's interacting with. So it
I
was
love
really fun to
that.
have his presence there, and such, to have these people really celebrate age tech in that way and be present for it was really cool to see. But when this panel started, the age tech design and tips, a case study, you were like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what this is. And you were so excited. So I want you to share with us about Gray Parker, David Byron, what they're
Yes,
up to.
they were so cool. And they were part of a company, and I hope I'm saying it right. Yeah, Sunberg
Sunberg,
Farrar. Okay, let's go.
let's
They
go.
were so nice, so I did not want to botch that, but they were so wonderful. Oh yeah, this was a really cool talk. The two gentlemen were wonderful. They were really interesting. But what they do is they help people with making tech and making sure that they're really focusing on and creating their tech for the end user and looking at everything and looking at the experience, right? And
Mm.
why I was excited, like you were saying, Nicole, is I got to see they were sitting there with something I've been following on Instagram for a while, the OB robot, and it helps independently feed people that can't necessarily feed themselves. And it's a beautiful product. It's really cool. And it's just their videos always get me with my heartstrings. They pull the heartstrings. It's a wonderful product that supports independence that we all crave and need and want. So wonderful product that I hope can be available to a lot of people in the future. But it was cool to see how they were talking about how they worked through the process of working with this company and making it specifically what it needed to be, and it was so intentional. They went through like 30 different spoon prototypes before they made the right spoon that is perfectly shaped, so it's not overwhelming to the mouth and they can take
Mhm.
the bite. It's just there's so much into it, and it was so thoughtful,
It
and it was
was.
just a really cool thing to actually hear these engineers, these designers, talk, and how passionate they are about making sure that the tech that they're helping create is truly useful and truly benefiting and making their quality of life better. And I did take a picture of a couple of their slides. I just want to read this. And I know I said a similar number from the other one, but so by 2040, 1 in 5 Americans will count as elderly.
Mm.
These 75 million people require support, care, and funding to meet their basic needs and age gracefully. Today, 40% of elderly people in the US do not receive the help they need.
Wow.
So innovation is a necessity. We need to get this right, is what it says.
Yeah.
And I just really love that. And it was, and then one thing I took away too is they had a slide and it was just powerful. Stop trying to be all things to all people. Start by being something to someone.
I
And
like that.
that reminded me of why I love Ugeria and why we do what we do is we are so focused on the people we are serving, and that would be caregivers and people living with dementia. We're so hyper focused on their needs and adapting what we sell and what we are creating to meet their needs, because we're not trying to be a burden or a barrier or
Yeah.
another thing you have to freaking worry about.
Right. Right.
We have to make people's lives easier.
Yeah.
And so those guys were really cool. And honestly, I loved that they came out to us at AgeTech. So at AgeTech After Dark
I do too. It was
at the
great.
club, the two of them came up to us and they were like, "You're such good audience members, and like you're so engaged, and you like look us in the eye." And
Oh,
I really take that compliment
I do
because
too.
I try to be. Because when I'm on stage, I really appreciate when people do that for me,
Yeah.
and I try to do that for everyone. I don't care if you're, playing a guitar on the side of the road or you are on a huge stage. I want you to feel seen. And it was like really kind that they like
So
came up and talked to
kind.
us. And
I
so it
love
just
it.
like was the kind of like the just
Icing on the
such a
cake of that
wonderful, yeah,
night.
thank you,
Yeah.
icing on the cake to
Yeah.
like finish. And like because I was already inspired by them, and then I was like, oh, and they're great people,
I know, I
wonderful.
know. And that was, well, the last panel I was able to attend. So it was just really, just ended it on such a high. And then you're right, we were able to go to the Age Tech After Dark pitch competition at
Fancy.
Lavo in the Palazzo.
Okay, I've always wanted to go to Lapo as a Vegas girl. but it's like fancy.
It's
It is like, it's an
beautiful.
expensive, fancy place. So I was just like, I'm never going to stand in line for that. So that was really cool to be able to get into and have an open bar for a couple hours,
I
right? And be able to
know.
do that. That was so nice.
They
And
did
they made
such
it
a nice
just
job.
really cool and beautiful. And
Hmm.
everyone it was just really good vibes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And,
And it was fun
but
to like all be together from
yeah.
hearing the panels, hearing, meeting all the exhibitors. And it really, so like to give a little backstory, it highlights five participating startups, and they only have 3 minutes to pitch their solution on brain health in front of this live panel for a $10,000 prize. That was super fun to have the freestyle team. They gave so much energy, like the music, and it was just so, it was truly like a celebration of everything culminating on that night. So I know we
Oh,
can get
yeah.
into who was there, but it was just such a vibe.
Well, it was. And it's like you have to go all out to be at a Vegas club and like make it actually cool. And they did, like you said, the freestyle team was so cool. I was obsessed. And Nicole and I definitely made a statement, and we did this on purpose. We wore full on sequins.
We did.
So we both had very sparkly outfits because A, why not? It's beautiful, it's fun, it's Vegas. And two, because I personally think it's a great way to be remembered, especially when there's drinks flowing.
Right.
Like, oh, you were the chick that looked like a disco ball. Cool, I remember you.
I
So
remember
that
you.
was my tactic, and I think
Yes,
it worked.
it did. I think it did. And we decided when we were there, we talked to so many women that came up to us. And
Yes.
it was so cool. Not only like, I'm like a girl's girl, and I love supporting other women that are doing awesome things. And senior living has a thing where it's like women in pink, right? All the women kind of wear pink. And we're like, what if we started women in sequence and age tech, right? Like celebrating all of the good things that are
Yeah.
happening. And so that was kind of like, I don't know if it'll catch fire, but it was
Oh,
just like, why
it has for
not?
you and me and
We'll
Michelle
wear,
rocking.
yeah, we'll just keep wearing sequins. So that
Always.
was like super fun. And it was so wonderful. One of my former podcast guests, Matt Golden, who's the CEO of Map Habit, he was one of the companies to pitch. The other entrepreneurs were Neil Weinstock, founder of Solid Core, Kostin Tukulesco, CEO of OnScreen, Dr. Megan Pitcher, CEO of Baritone Health, Cameron Graham, CEO of Story, and then, of course, Matt Golden, the CEO of Map Habit. And AARP had Andy Miller, and the CEO of AARP, Joanne Jenkins,
That was
were,
epic.
oh my gosh, it was so fun to see her in person,
It was.
announce the winner. And then there was a great panel that was put together that got to vote. It was audience vote and panel vote, and it was really fun. And then, of course, we got to spend time with our dear friend Kyle Rand, who is the CEO of Rendeavor and is a
So
part
much
of
fun.
the AgeTech collaborative portfolio companies, I think a few years ago maybe, but he is wonderful, and just time with everybody.
Yes.
It was just a coming together and celebrating all of the work that's being done.
It was so fun. And yeah, I've never met Kyle in person, and I've just been so impressed with what he's created with Rendeavor. So I was like really excited and felt cool that I was just like dancing with Kyle from Rendeavor. So I
I
was stoked.
know. So great. It was so great. And
Love
everyone
it.
was so, you could tell everyone was excited to meet and be with everybody else. So,
Oh yeah, no, so many good connections that night. And this is so off topic,
yeah,
but it's not. I am really on, I mean, of course, as Dementia Darling, I'm always on like an against ageism kick. Like obviously I hate ageism. And it's really a beautiful sight to be in a Vegas club with mainly people older than you.
I agree. I
And to be
agree.
like, hell yeah, this is fun. These are my people.
I
Like I felt
agree.
more comfortable than I've ever felt in a club. And I know that was a very off like situation. But like I was just like, this is the kind of club scene I could get down with.
Totally.
Like this is why I don't go to clubs. But I would come to this club. And it just made me really happy because like one of my goals in life is to have friends of all ages. And it just like gave me, I think, the start of of a few friendships that I'm excited to just like have. And it's just like
Oh,
exciting.
that makes me so happy. And I'm just in such agreement with that. The richness of my life is this compilation of people of all different ages, of all different backgrounds, of all different, diverse cultures. I mean, that's what gives me so much meaning, and to be able to like
Yeah.
learn from people and grow and advice and share, and then we're all passionate about something so
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
It was nice.
It was so
Good
great. I
vibes.
love that. After 2 really full days, Carrie, you and I, we Irish goodbye at the end of the night at like midnight, and we're like, we gotta go to bed.
Heck yeah, we
so,
did. And
so
there's
we're
no regrets.
definitely
I'm sorry,
not
guys.
wild Vegas people. No crazy stories for anybody, but it was fun.
It was wonderful.
That was
And
wonderful. We
yes, I'm
wanted to be
sorry.
really ready for all the days and be present, At least that's where I was coming from. But you had a day 3. I got up and went to the airport, and you brought me, so
I'm
thank
so
you.
sad.
It was so sad.
Like leaving you was not fun for
I
me.
know. Me
But
too.
so for some reason, I think I looked at the app wrong and I did not see the schedule for Thursday. So I was like, oh, nothing's really going on Thursday. I'm just gonna go to like I was gonna go down below again and see all the different countries, some of the startups, and go past one guy that I work with now. And so I went and did that again, guys. Very tired. But I swear,
You
okay,
rallied. You
first off,
really rallied.
okay, I'm gonna be very personal right now. First off, after I dropped you off, Nicole, I was like, okay, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going back to the Venetian. I'm not going home. Like I was after, dropping you off, it's like I'm right there to go home. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, no. I turn around. I got to Venetian.
Yeah. That's where
I
your
said,
grit kicked in,
no,
and you were like, I am going to do this.
no, I'm like, I have to go. Okay, I sat in my car for an hour. I was so tired.
Where did you
I did
sit?
I sat in my car at the Venetian parking lot. So I went right there and I sat in there and I just like literally was like staring off into space, so tired. Did some makeup, listened to a podcast, and just kind of like, you got this, you
Regrouped.
got this, your feet are gonna be fine. And like trying to like hype myself up to go in because my feet were literally falling off. That was the main reason. So I finally, after an hour, I was like, you parked, you're here. Like at least I had gotten there. So I got out and I went and I ended up not wanting to leave, of course. But I was there for a good 3-4 hours because I still wanted to get out before traffic was insane because getting out of that parking garage took me 35
Forever.
minutes the last time.
What? No.
Yeah. So I was just a little frustrated. But so I wasn't really thinking of the talks that were happening because for some reason they weren't in my calendar. I just wasn't thinking. And so I was very lucky because I went and did some of the booths and then I went upstairs and that's when I saw Ted Fisher, the CEO of Ageless Innovation, who is someone that I really, really, really look up to. And I just really like that man. He's awesome. And what he's done with Aegis Innovation, Joy for All Pets, I mean, just incredible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
I've
was
worked
fun to
with
meet him.
Joy.
I had not met
Well,
him
yeah,
before. I met him briefly with you
yeah.
one of the days. But yeah, you were able to have more time, which is
Well,
awesome.
yeah, and I've worked with Joy for All for years as Dementia Darling. So he even was like, "Thank goodness I'm finally meeting you," and that's always like something that's nice
Oh,
to hear.
yeah.
Um, but he did a talk, of course, with Daniela's moderating, wonderful, and Greg Olson from New York, who is part of the government, and he is someone who is making, overseeing projects to make sure people can get the things they need as they're aging. He's ahead of, all the aging services in New York. And oh my gosh, their talk, I was again I was a really good audience member, man. I was like hanging by the edge of my seat because they were
Yeah.
so good
Yeah.
because they were talking about such important things. And I love how Greg and Ted together, I'll tell you about their program, but Greg is modeling how every single person in the government should be thinking about aging services and how we support elders in our state, in our country, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. He is someone to look up to, and he's the only one, I mean, that's doing this kind of thing. And it was cool because you would have been proud. I beelined right when they were done. I literally ran up there. I was the first one, and I was like, "What's up?" I even got asked to take a picture of him. Like I was right there.
Oh,
Like they
so
weren't
good.
even done giving the microphones back, but I was like, "There, I have to talk to Greg." And he was like, he has a background in gerontology. And I'm like, what a beautiful thing to hear someone working in government have a
Yeah.
background in gerontology.
I love
Like,
that.
sir, love you.
Yep.
So that was a beautiful thing. And being able to talk to him about, and I really was inspired by him because like he literally said, he's like, if a piece of tech, especially something affordable for us to
Mm-hmm.
give to someone in their home, is going to help someone's quality of life be better, why wouldn't I do that as a
Right.
politician?
Right.
And I was just
Wow.
like, chills. Thank you for thinking like a politician should. Like it was just beautiful. It was a really cool thing to talk to him. But him and Ted worked together to give out Ageless Innovation products
So
for
cool.
free to people across New York.
Yeah.
So I think they've given over like 50,000 pets of the
What?
robotic pets in New
That
York. So
is
and it helps with loneliness. So they're helping people in
wow.
their home not be lonely.
Wow.
They're helping people. Like they're not just giving
Wow.
them, people are like, oh, that's a toy. No, this is a companion.
That's
This is
incredible.
something that is helpful. And so that's a project they worked on. I remember years ago, I think it was 2018, because I had told Greg, I was like, I remember hearing about this. They did a big project where it was like a pet adoption day for the elders.
Oh,
And it was
oh.
all the Ageless Innovation pets. It was like 1,800 pets in one event or something. Like it was
No
nuts.
way.
So it's just really cool. And now they're doing a game initiative where it's with the Ageless Innovation games. They have the whole Hasbro line because Ted used to work with Hasbro and he left to make Ageless Innovation to make accessible games for all generations as we age, which hello, that's why it went perfectly with the other talk,
So
right? About
amazing.
games and accessibility.
Yes. Yes.
And their project is Ted is facilitating all of the games being given out across New York. Him and Greg have this program where they're facilitating games between all generations and they're playing the Ageless Innovation games.
Wow.
And Ted announced they have the whole Hasbro line and they're going to launch 3 to 5 new games a year.
Oh my goodness. This is a big deal. It's a really
Yeah.
big deal.
And like
Wow.
we sell them at Ugeria. So I'm so all in with Ageless Innovation in all the aspects of my career. Like I just love them. And so everything from talking about them on Dementia Darling to Dementia Divas to working with them through Ugeria. I mean, I'm very much a fan. And of course, Danielle let me take the microphone and say that in front of everyone.
So
I was like,
please.
I love the pets because I've seen so many beautiful moments with them.
You
But yeah, it
have,
was
yeah,
cool
you have that
to
firsthand experience for sure.
yeah, and it was just beautiful to see how invested both of them are, and like how they were talking about how fun the moments are that they've created, and they were like, you could tell they love the work they do.
Oh,
Ted and Greg together are a cool team. So I just hope other states
yeah.
can model that. So that was just very inspiring altogether. And it's just for everyone. Like Greg's a wonderful person to know because I think, everyone needs to start lifting up people like him
Yeah.
so we can start modeling those things in other states.
Right.
But just to see someone and to reach out to someone that is passionate about tech and about seniors and how to make it realistic
Right.
for government,
Yep. And
to be
accessible.
involved.
Yep. For the
Yeah.
community. Yeah.
But that was really cool. So I did get to see that. And so that made everything worth I'm so glad I got out of my car.
You made it out.
And so that was wonderful. But then I also, of course, I went and saw as many of the AgeTech companies as I could before my feet fell off. And I went to see because this is already 10 hours long. So I'm just going to say one company that
Yep.
truly stuck out to me. We said them earlier, Next Stride. So Next Stride, I met the co-founder and COO, William Thompson, and I think we already said something about them, but I finally, that's when I got to meet him and I was amazed with his product. So I think that was wonderful. And so that was the one that I'm going to say stuck out to me. And then I got to go in the proto hologram
And you have
box. So
video
that was
of
really
it.
cool too.
Yes.
I did put a video up. So, and they had a filter. So it made you like a baby and then an older person. And I wish I realized it was recording and I was going to see it later because I didn't realize that because I would have done something so much better. I would have done a really cool dance, but instead I was like, oh, so excited, whatever. So lost my chance on that one. But that was very cool. And so those were the two that really stuck out to me. And then I had to kind of, again, Irish goodbye out of there because I was kind of over my social limit.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And I hadn't eaten because I'm one of those people that forgets to eat when they're excited.
I do too. I like go and then I'm like, oh my word, I'm starving.
Well, Nicole on the second day saved me because I thought I was going to pass out, and she gave me a Costco fruit roll-up thingy, and it saved me.
Oh,
And
hit
now
a
I'm obsessed with
sugar.
them, but that's another story. But no, on the way home, I stopped at In-N-Out, and I ate in my car like I haven't eten in my entire
It
life.
was
And it
probably
was
the
a beautiful
best
moment.
burger you've ever had.
It was beautiful. And then I went home and I was like, I'm going to sleep for 3 days. Bye-bye. It was wonderful. So
Oh,
that's my
I
CES
know. It
story.
was such a high. It was such a high. Well, and I just wanted to share, I remember telling you when I got there, I was like, I think a lot of my podcast guests are going to be here, which I knew going into it that
So many.
made it, plan to connect with them. But Doris Schooler, the CEO of Intuition Robotics, LAQ, we talked about that. Meeting him was wonderful, so kind, and they just released their new LAQ3. So
Hmm.
absolutely go to their website. And they work actually closely, I think, with Greg Olson with the state of New York
Yes.
delivering the LAQs, which is awesome. Um, you're a former podcast guest and you were there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, are we counting?
We're
Because
counting.
I
Okay,
wanted
so
to know how
that's
many. Okay.
two.
Okay.
Jean Ross, she is a nurse, co-founder of Primary Record. Her husband is an ER doctor. They have an incredible platform which unifies and keeps all of the health data. Have everyone in that care team have access to the same health data. They're doing incredible things. They were in Startup Village. We got to go down and say hi to her. Debbie Howard, she is the founder of Aging Matters International.
She's so
She
nice.
is so wonderful. She does a
Everyone was, but
lot
yeah.
of speaking and consulting internationally, specifically in Japan. She is the emeritus chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce in Japan. Debbie is also an author. She was also telling us about a large event that was happening in Singapore that brings like 5,000 people in aging services in May. So can't wait to learn more about that. Maxwell Cohen, he is the founder of Peelaways. He was also on Shark Tank. And when we were there, gosh, who was there from Shark Tank? That was,
Damon John was also there, one of the sharks, which was
yes.
really
I
cool.
know, you could tell it. We're like, what is this crowd doing following this person? Matt Golden, CEO of Map Habit. Not only did we get to have more conversation with him, he's so wonderful, but also got to see him pitch at the After Dark event. Susan Black, who is the founder and CEO of Wowzitude, and Abby Ritchie, she is the CEO of Senior Savvy. So what is that? 8? I think 8 guests. Well,
That's incredible.
Kyle Rand, we've done an interview. It hasn't been released yet. So
Bill?
9. Bill Zinnia, Allison was a guest, but Bill connected us. So
Yeah.
10. I know, it was so cool, and many more to come. It's been, yeah, it was
Wow.
just a treat. I think, as I shared, it's such a community when you bring everybody together and being able to build those relationships over time. I'm able to
Hmm.
then make strategic introductions for my guests and connect people, which is one of my favorite things. So,
You're so good at it. It's
um,
insane.
oh my gosh, it just makes me so happy. And
It's so fun.
that was our time.
Yeah. Can you believe that was only 3 days?
No, I can't.
Like it was only two
It was like
technically for
2 full
you.
days.
Yeah.
It
But
was
like
2 full days.
I can't wait for next year. I can't wait to see what comes out of some of these connections. I'm just really excited. And I just really am on fire for what's to come because we have to have hope. Because like we said earlier, it's really scary to know we're not ready. So having this hope and having, the people in this industry to fuel that hope for the future helps me a lot
I agree.
because it's really easy to get discouraged being, I don't know about you, but in my little world of dementia care world,
Yeah,
because of all, the DMs I
I
listen to,
know.
I message back and forth and I see and I avoid because it's too much sometimes for me mentally.
It's heavy, yeah.
um
You and we were talking about that where we hear the heaviness and we hear the story and it's a part of a lot of our conversation. And so it's easy to feel discouraged at times. So being in rooms and meeting people that are working so hard for that hope gave us a little bit of more peace and like something where we
Thank
knew we
you.
could
Yes.
relate. We can pass that along to the family caregivers that we support and work with and our peers, and even like just you and I being able to share and support each other, knowing that, hey, have you heard of this initiative or this
Yeah.
resource or this tool? It gives us the
Yes.
ability to take action. That's the word I'm looking for.
Exactly. Thank you for
Because a
saying
lot
what
of
I'm trying
time.
to say eloquently, because
Oh,
it's no, but it's
yes, but
exactly
it's
true.
true.
Like,
Yeah.
because yes, I get really, and I've said this before on,
Mm-hmm.
and I say this all the time. I mean, I get really lost in my world where I have to step back, and literally my mom will be like, Carrie, not everyone has dementia in
Yeah.
in the world, and you have to like step back from your life. And I think it's easy for us in senior living,
Mm-hmm.
because when I was a memory care director, it was really hard for me to step back from that when I was not there, and
Yeah.
to take your mind off of it. And it can be really sometimes hopeless. And I, like you just said, thank you for saying that, because
Yeah.
it does. It gives me hope. It gives me something to say. At least I'm not going to, my caregivers or whoever I talk to and say, there's nothing even on the horizon for that. Like, sorry.
I
But now I can say,
know.
like, people are thinking about this.
Yeah.
And I know it's not going to help you today and tomorrow, but like people
Mm-hmm.
are thinking about this.
Yeah.
And there is a hope in the future of the aging quality of life that can be better for
Right.
us.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice. And it was a great kind of view at a different world than we're kind of used to in the conference world of things.
I
So
agree.
it was
Yeah.
just refreshing. It was cool.
It was. It was. It was. And that's so true. It was, we're used to different types of events or conferences, but being in a setting where, okay, CES, it's mainstream, right? It's Amazon, it is Microsoft, Google, like everyone that is a major tech presence in the whole world. And seeing, we talked about this before, but seeing AgeTech play such a big role in that just even gave us that momentum even more so, right? Or that
Yep,
encouragement even more so. Like, all right,
100%.
let's do this. Let's
This is
go.
happening
This is happening.
finally. And I know a lot of people feel that way, and a lot of us are like, we've been here, we've been trying.
Hmm.
But like you said, it's becoming mainstream. Hello, like this is great. Like, keep
Yeah.
talking, keep speaking up, keep having these conversations. And I know myself, like in my daily life, I try to talk about, and I know I might be a Debbie Downer in my life to people, but even when I meet people right away, I'm like talking about dementia and caregiving, because any chance that we can to talk about and bring these things up and bring awareness, because you don't know until you know, and that's okay. And so to see, yeah, the awareness on a level like that is wonderful.
It is. It is.
But we could talk
So,
forever. I
would
know
we
I
do
need to like
anything different
rein it in.
next year? Like,
Oh, that's a great
I
question.
feel like for me, I'm gonna wear tennies again. I'm gonna try to attend like all of the panels. I'm
Yeah,
probably not gonna leave on Thursday early. I'm gonna give myself that day to really. There were so many panels that were
yeah.
happening, and I just felt like I wanted more time. What else? I don't know. It was just so fun.
I I agree. I agree. I am definitely going to give myself, I might even go, I think it was Friday too.
Yeah, you're right. It
I think I'm going
was.
to go Friday too. Like,
Yeah.
if I can handle it. But I also am going to manifest that I'm actually moderating some stuff so Danielle doesn't have to do it all.
I like that. I'm
No, just
gonna.
kidding. I'm not as cool as Danielle, and I'm not as eloquent
Oh, you know
or on
what?
my, but like I want to manifest being part of it. Like, I
Yes.
want to be on the floor with
Yes.
AARP,
Yes.
and like I have to be there because I'm part of the
Yes,
group.
I agree. I love that. And you and I had shared, like, let's manifest. We'll maybe podcast co host some
Yeah.
of they've got their setup there, and how cool to do one or two of those. That would be
Yeah.
so fun. So who knows? Who knows? But in any capacity, we're supporters and we're cheerleaders, and we're really excited for next year and for
If you
this
can't
year ahead.
tell. If you can't tell.
I
But you
know.
know what? I have to say, I did find a sequin suit. So that might be next year.
Okay, so that is actually now I will be looking this next year for my sequence outfit. So
Send sequins our way, everyone. DM me,
that
I'll
is
tell you my size.
that's so fun. Well, until next year, I am just
Yes.
beyond happy that I got to do this with you, and it
Me
was
too.
such a joy, and I love you, and
It
I'm so
was.
excited.
I love you too. It was so fun. Hope to see you all there next year. And it was cheaper for tickets than I thought. So just look into it. Look into it, y'all.
Look into it, and reach out if you have any questions. We're happy to share more, and cannot wait to see the next year unfold. So thanks everyone for
100%.
listening to us laugh and talk and share and be a part of this couple hours.
Yes, thank you all. Enjoy the conversation.
Oh.
We want to talk about this all year long.
Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe and give us 5 stars. In all honesty, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to our episode.